Welcome back to the day after reaction with myself, Waz and Dan. However, not any regular, day after reaction. We are going to be reacting to the last two games, the back-to-backs, Oilers versus Blackhawks, Oilers versus Wild. Dan, let's get to your overall thoughts. What did you think of these two games for the Edmonton Oilers?
Well, it was two very different games, was as you alluded to there. First game, the Oilers probably shouldn't have had to struggle as much as they did, at least on the scoreboard. And then the second game against Minnesota, you could just definitely see a Minnesota team that plays that slow, trudging style of hockey,
Yeah.
and they hit the body and they made a team that was playing the second game of back to back work really hard for it, and the Oilers just weren't able to come out with it.
Yeah, and I really do wish the Oilers could have got something out of Minnesota just because they're a team that they've struggled against in the past. But unfortunately, that was a game where a lot of the fingers were being pointed towards Jack Campbell again because 5 goals let in. He hasn't had the greatest stats. Shame to see Clem Costin get a goal for the Oilers, but not really mean anything towards the end.
Yeah,
A lot of finger pointing at goaltending throughout these back to back. Stuart Skinner, not a great performance. I mean, I think he was okay in Chicago. I don't think he was at fault for a lot of those goals. I think the defense in front of him.
yeah. Well, when you get 2 goals against as on the power play, the goal by Domi was just a heck of a shot coming down from the point, and then that goal that followed it right afterwards was between, or no, was that the first goal that went right between a Oilers player and a
Oh,
Blackhawks player?
yeah.
That's a tough thing to see as a goalie. It's tough enough to be screened, but then to have it come directly through the middle of the screen is pretty wild. I wouldn't necessarily say Skinner was a problem against Chicago so much as that's just a good offensive team. Like that second power play goal by Domi, where it was a pass behind the back by Patrick Kane to him. You know, I don't think anybody on the ice saw that pass coming, and it just
Yeah.
happened. And it is what it is against a team like Chicago. That's going to happen. Chicago, is not very good, but they still have highly skilled players that can make little
Yes.
flashes of brilliance happen.
And then how about with all the attention going towards Mr. Jack Campbell after last night?
Yeah, I get it. I think for this team, anytime you see more than 3 goals up on a game, people are going to be upset at the goaltender. And last night, Jack wears that one. I don't think that Jack has been the problem in the last few starts before that.
Mm-hmm.
So I continue to say that we need to continue this rotation. Skinner is a good goalie. Jack is a good goalie, and they will figure this out. They're both solid goaltenders, and we'll be fine. People are going to react pretty strongly with a guy like
Yes.
Jack Campbell, especially when the organization has taken as much time to really give him as much positive PR as they can.
Mm-hmm.
The fans are going to be a little bit more tepid against that, and so you understand why people are talking about buyout today.
Yeah.
But being very clear here, being very transparent, the Edmonton Oilers are not discussing a buyout of Jack Campbell anytime soon.
Nobody is gonna get bought out anytime soon here. That'd be silly. I don't think any organization would ever do that after what they've just handed him. But at the same
Not
time,
not after signing a
yeah,
contract. That's
exactly,
exactly
right?
it.
Like that's a bit overreactionary in my opinion. Let's get to the three takeaways from this back to back. What was your first takeaway? You say?
First takeaway has to be the penalty kill. Continues to be an issue, continues to be leaky and allow goals. 2 goals against Chicago, and then 2 goals against on 3 power plays against Minnesota. Not good enough. The
Mm-hmm.
penalty kill has to be better, and it has to stop hamstringing us to be able to take a penalty here or there.
Takeaway number two.
It's the goaltending. It's
Yeah.
not Skinner's fault, and it is on Jack Campbell in that second game. Uh, Goaltending is going to be a common thread for the rest of the season. Whether fans get prepared for it, we are going to be dealing with this for the next 60 plus games of the year. And it's going to be up and down like a toilet seat, in the words of Ken Holland. So we got to get used to it.
And takeaway number three.
It's again these starts, and for me,
Yeah.
it continues to be every time I come on and hop on your show, Ross. Feels like I'm talking about their effort, but even against the Chicago Blackhawks, started the game weakly, didn't pay for it on the scoreboard, but you cannot allow these teams opportunities to fight back. And they did it against Minnesota too. Minnesota, I feel like, sensed some blood in the water with this team on the second game of back to back, and they started to take out the body in the first period, and that just dictated the rest of the game for the Oilers was not going to be as high energy and they lost as a result. So for me, it's these starts. You gotta start better. You gotta start these games with a lead in the first period.
And then I think the last question I want to ask you before this is back to Jack Campbell. Would it be silly if the Oilers sent him down to Bakersfield? Do you think that's an option for them to send Jack Campbell? My bad.
I don't think that there's no. It's a great question. I don't think
Yeah.
there's anything. I don't think there's anything wrong with sending him back for a conditioning stint. I just don't think he's at that point yet. We're
Mm-hmm.
not. We're not talking about a guy that has put together an entire season of crap like we've seen down in Calgary with Jacob Markstrom. This is a guy that's 20 games into, 10 games into his year with the Oilers, and he's figuring out some stuff. This team is different than the team we played last year. It's defensively playing a different style than it played last year. There's a lot of things that we're still trying to figure out. So, I really think that this debate is long in the tooth and it's going to be going all year. I think we're going to be talking Jack's praises. I think we're going to be singing some struggles with Skinner and everything in between as well. So I preach patience. They're the Edmonton Oilers goaltenders until such changes,
Yeah.
come about. But it ain't coming anytime soon. So these are our guys. Let's ride it out and see how it goes.
Yeah, it's tough to find a single solution to these problems, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to bring that up because I was listening to the DFO rundown with Frank Cervalli and Jason Gregor, and I think they mentioned like, oh, do they send him back for just to get his confidence up? And Olivier Rodriguez has been playing so well with Bakersfield, so I don't know, but
Yeah.
hopefully a solution come back. The Oilers did just come off a 3-game winning streak, so it's very overreactionary I find right now, but that's what happens when the Oilers fan base is hungry for winning. They're hungry for consistency. So thank you to everyone for. Go ahead.
The Oilers are victims of the passionate fan base. Well, as you said
Exactly.
it
Yeah.
best. They
So
just, when you're as rabid as we are, you want answers and you want them to be fixed tomorrow.
yes, perfectly put. Thank you everyone for tuning into the day after reaction. Don't forget to head to OilersNation.com for more in-depth analysis. Comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Waz.
Perfect. That was good. Fun stuff.
Good, buddy. Appreciate your patience.
For sure.
And we'll talk to you later.
Sounds good. Take care, friend.
See ya.